Hi everybody and welcome back. So today we're going to be looking at the Druga V2 RDA by Augvape. This is a 24 millimeter RDA. It's got adjustable airflow, which I really like. You can literally close it down, open it up, make it yours, and I love options, especially when it comes to airflow. Another thing that it does have is a special clamp style system. It is a shared post system, but it does have a special clamp style. If you knew about the Druga RDA or you haven't seen it, I do have a video of that, the first review, or the review that I did for it. It was a few years ago, but now they have the Druga 2. So we're gonna go ahead and go down. We're gonna look at this. We're gonna put a build in it. Then we're gonna come back up. We're gonna talk on it, pros and cons. So let's go look at the Druga 2 RDA by Augvape. Okay, so here we are with the Druga 2 by Augvape. This is the packaging that it comes in. And then on the back, it's gonna tell you everything that's included. Inside the box, you're gonna get this little card here, which is going to tell you how to place your coils. And then on the other side, it's just going to give you the specifications. You're going to get a baggie of extras. This is going to include your O-rings, squonk pin, as well as your negative screw. That is actually what that is right there. So your negative screw is included. Very, very simple bag. Nothing really much included other than what I just showed you. And then you've got the RDA. Now this is a 24 millimeter in diameter RDA. On the bottom, it does say Vape's House and Augvape, and then it does say Druga 2 right there. And then of course your serial number. You do have a protruding gold plated pin. And then again, your negative screws right there. So that is actually to help you to remove your decks. So you do have an extra one just in case you lose it. So I think that's awesome. On the top, you're going to get a low profile 810 drip tip. So this is going to be a really, really low one. It looks like it's a whole drip tip, but this is actually just a platform, a raised platform for you to put your drip tip on. Most of my drip tips do fit this, but there are a couple that will overhang. Depending on which ones you have, but this is the low profile. As you notice, it's really, really narrow, and that fits on like that, but you can use any 810s. It's just going to be a little bit taller because of that raised platform. On the sides, you're going to get the Druga symbol on this side, but you get nothing on this side. It does have adjustable airflow. Now with the airflow, the thing that I do like is that this is adjustable for everybody. So you can actually just have 2 holes open, you can have 4 holes open, you can have all of the holes open, or if you want to cut it down, you can actually do it 1 hole at a time. So you can even have 4 open like this, or you can have just the top row closed and then move over to the bottom row and then back to the beginning again. Now, the only option that I did not see with this airflow is that you can close off the bottom and leave the top. That's the only way that you would not be able to do it. Okay, and then taking off the top cap, as you can tell, this is kind of, it's really, mine is very, very nice. I have to say, I do like the fact that the finishing is really, really nice and it's clean. I don't have any issues with that whatsoever. Really, really nice. Now, these sides right here can be a little pokey, but I don't usually play with those because they're in there just to adjust the airflow. And then this is the rest of the barrel. Now the barrel does have a little locking notch right there, as well as one on this side, and that's going to lock into your deck. It actually makes it easier to take it off too, so depending on what you want. Now on the deck, as you can see, there are the notches right there and right here. And of course you can see that Druga RDA type of system. If you haven't seen the Druga 1, very, very similar. It's got the same type of structure where the knurlings can actually be unscrewed by hand to actually expose the post so that you can build in it. So all you have to do is just do that, and then it raises up. Now these are cut out for like Phillips head. I personally get a better experience with flatheads, which is not normally my thing because I do like Phillips heads better, but I feel like it grips it and tightens it better with the flathead, but that's just my experience that I want to let you know. Now, as you can see on the bottom, you do have your peak insulation right there. That pin right there is your solid 810. If you go and put your squonk pin in it, of course, it would actually be squonking over there and then going into either side. It does have about a 6 millimeter deep juice well. So really, really easy to build on. It is a shared post system. Not my favorite. Definitely not my favorite for new beginners that are looking for RDAs, in my personal opinion. But it's pretty simple. It's the old school way. Now this does have 2 O-rings right there. And again, they do bring extra O-rings. So let's go ahead and get started with building on this. So for today's coils, I'm actually going to be using my Alien V3 coils. These are from Coil Clout. You can get these at coilclout.com. If you use the coupon code Wendy, you actually get, until further notice, you get 20% off right now. So I'm really, really excited. So I do have some beautiful aliens right there. So what I'm going to do is the best way to do this is to actually put one in, measure it, cut it, and then match up the other one. That's what I've always done prior to this when I was doing shared posts before. So what you're going to do is literally just put in your coil and you're going to find out where exactly you want it to sit. Like I'm going to want it to sit about that distance there. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and cut my leads. I'm just going to cut them on the other side right there and right there. You might want to hold yours. Okay, right there. And then that's about where I'm going to have it. I'm just going to measure it and make sure that it's not sticking out too far. There we go. Now I'm just going to take my screwdriver. I'm going to put it on like this. And I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to put it on a screwdriver and then I'm just going to put another coil, the other coil right next to it like this. And I'm just going to cut it at the same length. And this will make it a little bit easier. Okay, and then all we need to do is just put them in. So I'm going to put one on one side, one on the other side. So, put those in there. Right there, and then put this side in here. And then we're just going to even them out. Right there, making sure that they're in. And then the good part about the shared clamp with this style is actually that you can start clamping them down by just screwing it. So I'm just going to leave this out here just a little bit like that. A little bit like that. And then you can start tightening it by hand. There we go. Okay, and then we're just going to screw them down and then we'll straighten them out. So there we go. We got the 1 and then 2. And then all we need to do is just straighten them out to wherever you want them. Now I'm going to actually be lining it up with the airflow on the chamber or on the barrel. And you want to make sure that your coils are not outside of the lip right here. If it's outside, it's going to be touching your cap and that is not cool. So what I'm going to do is just put the barrel right here and I want to see where it's positioned. And I want it to be in between the bottom and the top. So I'm just going to raise it just a hair more because we do want some airflow to run under the coils because that's actually going to bring the better flavor. So let's check it now. So that should be fine. What I'm going to do is just go ahead and put this on so we can see for sure. And yep, you can actually see it's going to be hitting the bottom of the coils right at the bottom. So that is the perfect, right at the bottom, right at the bottom. So that's the perfect height for these coils. So now all we have to do is just go ahead and dry fire them. I'm going to go ahead and turn this down. Get those to heat up. Got my ceramic tweezers. You can give them a little push or a little pinch. You can scrape it really, really lightly. You don't want to scrape them too hard because these are actually aliens and they have the Clapton wire on them. You really don't want to scrape it like with metal or scrape it too hard. You just want to let them gently get red. There you go. What I like to do is just pull it out just a little bit like this. Sometimes that actually helps it heat up just a little bit faster. There we go. And you can pinch. Yep, that one's starting to heat up nice. And pinch. See that lightning bolt? That's actually a hot spot, so we want to get that out. Okay, so we got that one heating nice. Okay, then we've got them heating nice and even. So what I'm going to do is let this cool down and we're going to wick it up. So as usual, I'm going to be using my Kendo Vape Cotton Gold Edition. This is just my preferred and my go-to, so I'm going to do that. Get some cotton here. And these are 3 millimeter inner diameter coils. All you have to do is just put it through, pull it through the other side. Okay, there we go. And do the same to the other side. Okay, right there. Now let's go ahead and get our scissors and cut some right here. And cut some right there. And then what I like to do, not everybody does, but what I like to do is I do like to feather it out some or fluff it out some, because I like to where it'll saturate a little bit quicker and I'll bring it up to the coil a little bit quicker that way. So that's just my preferred method. Any way you decide to do it is totally up to you, but I do this for mine. Okay. A little bit right there. And clean that up a little bit. Okay, and then all you need to do is just get your cotton. You're just going to wrap it around and stick it right in there. You want to push it over to the side. We want to make sure that the under the coil is always empty, because that's where the airflow is going to be coming in under your coil. So you always want to make sure that you actually put your cotton to the sides. So it'll be open like that. And then do the same to this side. It goes in really easy, as you can see. Just separate it in the middle. There we go. And then of course, just grab your e-liquid of choice. Just going to turn this up some. And I am going to do just like I do with anything else, like my RTAs and RDAs. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit on the coils. And I'm going to pulse, because we want to make sure that the cotton within those coils is nice and saturated. That's really important. It saves you from break-in time from your cotton. Some cotton doesn't have any, some does, but this will work for any cotton that you have. Doesn't matter. And then I just like to clean it up a little bit. Oh my God, it smells so good. There we go. Get all my stragglies in. Make sure that I got my openings right there and I'm good. Take your barrel. You're going to put it on facing the coils. The airflow is facing the coils. That should drop it right on there. If you don't, you can still put it down and then just swivel it. But this does have a swivel also. I wanted to show you. Let me show you this. Okay, so it's down there and it's locked. Now, if you were to cut it down, some RDAs don't do this, but if you were to cut it down, say for instance, I'm going to cut off 2 holes, I can literally turn it this way and it's still touching my coils. See, if I'm cutting down the 2 holes, it's still going to touch my coils, which is really, really nice. And it doesn't matter which way you do it. I can cut down 2 right here and it's still going to be hitting my coils. So that to me is definitely a pro. So I did want to mention that real quick. So yeah, so that's the Druga V2 RDA by Augvape. Let's go ahead and take it on top and have a vape pros and cons. Okay, so here we are back on top with the Druga V2 RDA. Before anything, I'm going to go ahead and have a vape and then we're going to talk more about it. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that I did put on my own drip tip because I do like matchy. And the low profile for me, not a fan of. Only, that's my preference though. It's not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm just not a fan of the low profile drip tips. I don't like having my lips so close to the top of the RDAs, just my opinion. Now, when you do put your own drip tip on it, you will have that little platform over there, so it does make it just a hair bit taller, but for me it's comfortable. It's not bothering me at all, but that's just my preference. I would have liked to have seen no platform, to be totally honest with you. for my preference. Again, it's not a con, it's just something that I want to mention to you, because that is something that a lot of people do like, the low profile, or they like their own drip tips and don't like the platforms. I just want to mention that to you. Now, the airflow to me is definitely the best part of this RDA, not the clamps, not the deck, but definitely the airflow. And the reason for that is because it's got so many options. You can actually close it down, you can open it up, you can put one slit off, you can do just the top row off. You can do so many different options with this airflow that I like that. I love options when it comes to anything that I have. And that to me really makes this RDA. This is definitely a flavor kind of cloud chasing type of RDA. You get tremendous airflow when you open it wide up, but you can actually reduce it some and you get more restrictive airflow, you know, depending on what you want. Now I'm going to go ahead and just, I'm going to go ahead and just put down like one row off. So just one row is off, and I am going to go ahead and make sure that it is facing my coils. It is, and we'll go ahead and have another vape. That to me is a normal RDA airflow, but I really like it wide open because that's just more my style, because I like a lot of airflow. But if you like it a little bit more restrictive, just having the two slits down, it's perfect. Being that these are bigger holes than normal honeycomb airflow, you're definitely getting that airflow. In addition to that, depending on your coil placement is going to be dependent on your flavor. For me, I do like the bottom where I line it up with the airflow so that the bottom is going straight under it and the top airflow holes are actually hitting the coil. That's my preferred, but you can build it any way you want. But if you notice for any reason that you're not getting the flavor that you think you should, just go ahead and play with the, you know, the height of your coils and the coil placement, and that should change it for you. Other than that, I do like the clamp style, but you have to be careful because when you are adjusting your coils and things like that, you definitely want to go in and make sure that they're tight again, because what I've noticed, and I noticed this in the original Druga as well, is once you've placed it in there, you've gone ahead and you've tightened everything up, you have it placed, but you want to go and move your coils, it can loosen them. That's just my experience with it. It was the same experience I had with the first one. I remember it vividly. That was my main complaint of that one. Now for me, I don't mind, you know, double screwing it or making sure that it's tight. That's a no-brainer for me. I always double check that anyway. But you do want to just be careful with that. If you're adjusting your coils after you've tightened them down, make sure that you check to make sure that they're tight again. It's not really a con because you're adjusting the coils, but it is something I want to bring attention to. The deck, it does have a 6 millimeter capacity, so that you don't have to worry about any type of over dripping. You literally have up until the bottom row of your airflow in order to fill it. So you're not really going to be over dripping when you go like this. Unless you fill it like a lot, you won't be over dripping. It shouldn't be a problem at all. It hasn't been for me at least, and I'm an over dripper. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for that. Again, the flavor and clouds are really good. The only subjective thing that I do have to it is the goodie bag. The goodie bag just has a couple O-rings, and it's got your squonk pin, and it's got your negative screw. That's it. I really would have liked it to have either some coils, maybe some cotton, an extra drip tip would have been fantastic. Being that it is a low profile drip tip that they're giving you, I feel like they should have given you like a spare drip tip that would have fitted as well to make it a little bit taller, just because it would have been another option. So that's pretty much it for that. I don't really have any real cons to it. It works fine. Other than, you know, the screws, you know, you definitely don't want to try to do it just with your hands. You do have to tighten it down, whether it be a Phillips head or a flat head. You definitely want to make sure that you have them tightened down. I have 3 millimeter inner diameter Alien V3s in here, and they fit just perfectly. You saw that I could fit my cotton in fine, so that's not a problem. Anything bigger than that or any type of exotic coils, you're going to have less room for your cotton, but that's just, you know, a matter of preference. RDAs in the days were just like that anyways, and they were smaller too, so you still have room. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for my review. Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts about the Druga 2 is, and I'll leave some pictures here of the different colors that they have. Let me know your thoughts, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button down here, as well as the bell notification so that you're notified anytime that I upload new content. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Wendy Vapes, all one word. And yeah, so that's it for my review, and I will see you in the next one.